am Deepika Tidke, Assistant Professor at MBP KPTCU Nashik. Video on Evaluation of User Interface. Basically, what is evaluation? Evaluation is used to support the design of usable interactive systems. However, even if such a process is used, we still need to assess our design and test our system to ensure that they actually behave as we expect and meet user requirements. This is the role of evaluation. What are the goals of evaluation? The goals are, there are three main goals of evaluation. Basically, evaluation should occur throughout the design life cycle, with the result of the evaluation feeding back into modifications to the design. First goal of evaluation is the system's functionality. To assess the extent and accessibility of the system functionality is important in that it must check users' requirements, must accord with the user's requirements. In other words, the designs of the system should enable users to perform their intended task more easily. This includes not only making the appropriate functionality available within the system, but making it clearly reachable by the user in terms of the actions that the user needs to take to perform the task. Second main goal is the evaluating system design in terms of its functionality capabilities. It is important to assess the user's experience of the interaction and its impact upon him. This includes considering aspects such as how easy the system is to learn, its usability, and the user satisfaction with it. Third main goal is, the final goal of evaluation is to identify specific problems with the design. This may be aspects of the design which were used in their intended context and cause unexpected results or confusion amongst users. This is, of course, related to both use functionality and usability of the design. These all three are the three main goals of evaluation. Next is evaluation through expert analysis. We know what is evaluation. So evaluation through expert analysis is a number of methods have been proposed to evaluate interactive systems through expert analysis. This is depend on the designer taking the design and assessing the impact that it will have upon a typical user. As we have noted, evaluation should occur throughout the design process. In particular, the first evaluation of the system should ideally be performed before any implementation work has started. If the design itself can be evaluated, expensive mistakes can be avoided since the design can be alerted prior to any major resource commitments. So this method can be used at any stage in the development process from a design. Specification through storyboards and prototypes to full implementation, making them flexible evaluation approaches. They are also relatively cheap since they do not require user involvement. They do not assess actual use of the system, only whether a system upholds accepted usability principles. Next is cognitive walkthrough. Cognitive walkthrough, heuristic evaluation, the use of models and use of the previous work. We will consider 4 approaches to expert analysis. First is cognitive walkthrough, next is heuristic evaluation and the use of models and the use of previous work. First approach is a cognitive walkthrough. Cognitive walkthrough originally proposed and later revised by Olson and colleagues as an attempt to introduce psychological theory into the information walkthrough technique. Walkthrough requires a detailed review of a sequence of actions. In the code walkthrough, the sequence represents the segments of the program code that is stepped through by the reviewers to check certain characteristics. To do walkthrough, you need 4 things. First is a specification or prototype of the system. It does not have to be complete, but it should be fairly. Details such as location, wording for a menu can make big difference. Second thing is a description of the task the user is to perform on the system. This should be a representative task that most users will want to do. And third thing is a complete written list of the actions needed to complete the task with the proposed system. Fourth thing is an indication of who the users are and what kind of experience and knowledge the evaluators can assume about them. So these are the 4 things of cognitive walkthrough. For each action, the evaluators are trying to answer the following 4 questions for each steps in the action sequence. First is the effect of action the same as the user goal at that point? Each user action will have a specific effect within the system. Is the effect the system as what the user is trying to achieve at this point? Will users see that the action is available? Will users see the menu item? For example, it is used to produce the action. This is not asking whether they will recognize the button is the one they want. This is merely asking whether it is visible to them at the time when they will need to use it. If we now assume that the user did manage to achieve the correct actions, will he know that he has done so? Will the feedback given be sufficient? Confirmation. So this is the cognitive walkthrough. First approach of evaluation through expert analysis. Next is heuristic evaluation. A heuristic is a guideline or a rule of thumb that can guide a design decision or be used to critique a decision that has already been made. Heuristic evaluation is a method for structuring the critique of a system using a set relatively simple and general heuristic. It is a guideline or a general principle or a rule of thumb that can guide a decision or be used to critique a decision that has already been made. But it can also be used on prototypes, storyboards, and fully functioning systems. The general idea behind heuristic evaluation is that several evaluators independently critique a system to come up with usability problems. It is important that there are several of these evaluators and that the evaluation be done independently. The general idea behind heuristic evaluation is that several evaluators independently critique a system to come up with potential viable problems. It is important that there is several of these evaluators and that the evaluations can be done independently. So this is heuristic evaluation. Next is third approach is model-based evaluation. A third expert-based approach is use of models. Certain design models provides a means of combining design specification and evaluation into the same framework. GOMS model. G stands for goals, O stands for operators, and M stands for methods, and S is selection. So GOMS model predicts user performance with a particular interface and can be used to filter particular design options. Design rationale provides a framework in which design options can be evaluated. Next approach is evaluation approach is using previous studies in evaluation, that is previous work. A final approach to expert evaluation exploits this inheritance, using previous result as evidence to support aspects of the design. It is expensive to repeat experiments continually, and expert review of relevant literature can avoid the need to do. The reviewer must therefore select evidence carefully, noting the experimental design. So, these are the four approaches of evaluation. Next is evaluation through user participation. The techniques we have considered so far concentrate on evaluating a design through analysis by designer or expert evaluator, rather than testing with actual users. We will look at a number of different approaches to evaluate through user participation. These include empirical methods, observational methods, and query techniques. First is style of evaluation. Style of evaluation. In style of evaluation, there are two approaches. First is laboratory studies and second is field studies. So what is laboratory studies? Laboratory studies taken out of the normal work environment to take part in controlled test, often in a specialist usability laboratory. A well-equipped usability laboratory may contain sophisticated audio recording and analysis facilities, two-way mirrors, instrumented computers, which cannot be replicated in work environment. Next is field studies. High levels of ambient noise, greater levels of movement, and constant interruptions, such as phone calls, all make field observation difficult. Evaluators out into the user's work environment in order to observe the system in action. This is field studies. The context is written and you are seeing the users in his natural environment. Empirical methods. Empirical methods, experimental evaluations. One of the most powerful methods of evaluating a design or aspect of a design is to use a control experiment. This provides empirical evidence to support a particular claim or hypothesis. It can be used to study a wide range of different issues at different levels of details. Any experiment has the same basic form. The evaluator chooses a hypothesis to test. So this is all are the evaluation, or we can take the evaluation. What is evaluation? So next part I will explain in next video. Thank you for watching and listen this video. For any query, contact on the pic3d@.